Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. All right, so today I have the beautiful opportunity to share one of the books that has been transformational for me. It's Science of the Cosmos, Science of the Soul by Professor William Chittick. I came across this book years ago, maybe in my 20s. I would understand the individual words, of course, but really that was about it. Because of my preconceived notions, my biases, my immaturity, I got through a few pages, but truly even that, I didn't really understand it. I had no clue what Professor Chittick was saying. Years later, this book was recommended to me again. And I'm so glad that it was, because this time when I opened the book, it was with the burning question, what is reality? I kind of could see that there was an underlying order to existence, but just barely. I wanted to truly understand it, to experience it, to really see it for what it is. And then when I opened the book with that lens, every other sentence held such depth that I would sit with it, I would reflect on it for long periods of time before I would then move ahead and then slowly move ahead. This time I began to see what Professor Chittick was actually pointing at. And what I saw changed how I saw the world around me. No, it changed how I saw the cosmos around me. You see, as children, we are told, yes, that there is a creator. We are to obey him. We are to worship him. Then as teenagers, as young adults, maybe we have our own intellectual conclusions that yes, a creator exists. But how many of us have actually experienced the divine for ourselves? We may have found God in books. We may have found God in arguments. How many of us have found God in here? That's what this book is about. The capacity that each of us have to see God with the heart. And that this capacity once existed widely among societies and among communities. Also, that this capacity has been lost. It has been replaced. And what would it take to recover it? Let's begin. So what's the problem? The problem is precisely this, that we no longer experience Tawhid. The Shahada, La ilaha illallah, that there is no God but Allah. We say these words, but do we feel them? Do we see the Shahada in the world around us? We merely repeat it. It's like a formula. Words we've memorized, but it's empty. Religion becomes empty. And we end up following religion blindly. We pray out of habit. There is no personal realization. There is no transformation in our salat, in our prayers. As a result, there is an emptiness and a vacuum inside. And the fact is this, no one can survive in a vacuum. It's a law of nature. Everyone needs a direction, a goal to move towards. Everyone has some orientation. Everyone worships something. So in the absence of actually experiencing Tawhid, the divine reality for ourselves, what takes its place? New gods, modern gods. What are these modern gods? Well, for most of us, it starts close to home. It's our lowest desires, our ambitions, our drives. The voice that says, if I just had a better job, if I just had a bigger salary, if I just had a nicer house, a faster car, then I'd be content. Then I'd be happy. And so we chase. We get that thing. And for a moment, there's relief. And then the emptiness returns. And the chase begins again. You don't call it worship, but what else would you call something that you orient your entire life towards? Now, for some of us, for those who grow past the chase for material comforts, there are new gods, the gods, more sophisticated gods. They are called ideologies, isms, freedom, equality, progress, nationalism, democracy, or more educated pursuits like evolution, science, medicine. Then they are the most dangerous gods of all, the ones we barely recognize as gods. Care, communication, development, standard of living, education. Now, there's nothing wrong with care, education, nothing wrong with development. These are beautiful things. But when education is no longer in service of knowing reality and becomes the goal in itself, that's when it becomes a god. When development never stops to ask, development towards what? When care is no longer grounded in any understanding of what a human being actually is or what we truly need, then they have quietly all become gods. And the worst thing is, you don't even know you're worshipping them. Their seeming innocence makes them completely invisible. Now, since we never felt the Shahada, we are left with the pull of these various gods. This fragments us, tears us apart. First the self, then society, then our relationship with everything that we've known and everything in the cosmos itself. So, to understand the depth of what we've lost, I have a question for you. The question is this: do you still speak your mother tongue? I ask this because, honestly, I struggle to speak mine. I speak it, but not as fluent as English. What's worse, it's sadly even more difficult for my children. Why? Because I never taught it to them. It was never transmitted to them. So you see, there are two kinds of knowledge. The first is this transmitted kind. It's called transmitted knowledge, like language, history, everything you read in a book, everything you watch on a video, everything you learn in a classroom. If that is not passed on, it's lost, just like my mother tongue. On the other hand, the second kind of knowledge is called intellectual knowledge. It cannot be passed on. You must realize it by yourself, for yourself. For example, no one can give you the experience of tasting honey. No one can hand you the feeling of a cool breeze on a hot summer day. Some things you can only know by living them. Mathematics is one such example. It begins to approach intellectual knowledge. See, initially a child is taught 2 plus 2 is 4. The child then internalizes this concept of what addition actually is. And then eventually he doesn't say, and eventually the child gets, yes, 2 plus 2 is 4. That means 4 plus 4 is 8. I get it. He no longer says 4 plus 4 is 8 because my teacher said so. He knows it. He's made it his own. It's his knowledge. That's what's intellectual knowledge. But here it goes deeper, much deeper. When Professor Chittick speaks about intellectual knowledge, he is not talking about sensorial experiences or mental understanding like mathematics. He's speaking about knowing and experiencing divine reality directly. It's not just about the taste of honey, but the nature of the one who created both the honey and the tongue that tastes it. It's not just understanding the logic of mathematics, but standing in awe of the divine order woven through the entire cosmos. Wow. And here is the point. The Quran is transmitted knowledge. It was transmitted from God via Gabriel to the Prophet. When you were taught Shahada, that there is no God but Allah, that was transmitted from your parents or from a religious scholar to you. But the truth that the Quran points to, the reality that the Shahada points to, that truth, that reality, that's intellectual knowledge. You can realize it. You can see it for yourself by yourself. Wow! Now, how does one achieve this kind of knowledge? This realization for yourself, by yourself. Professor Chittick puts it beautifully. The way to achieve it, to find it with yourself, is by training the mind and by polishing the heart. Here's the tragedy. Only wisps of that knowledge remain. Today we are drowning in transmitted knowledge, yet so little trickles into the heart. So what did this intellectual knowledge actually look like? What were the people who had this intellectual knowledge actually exploring? Well, it's a journey. And any real journey begins with a step, and each step naturally leads to the next. It begins with the most fundamental question a human being can ask. What is reality? Or who is God? Now, not what I've been told about God, not what books say about God, but to see for myself, by myself, who is He? What is His nature? What does it mean that He is? Just that He is. What does that mean? And once that question takes root in you, something happens. You start looking around. Well, if God is real, if God is the source of everything, then what is all of this? What is this cosmos? What are the stars? What are the mountains? What are the oceans? What is the wind? How did all of it come from the one? And oh, the harmony, the beauty. What's happening? And it's all moving. It's all going somewhere. Where is it all going? Then right in the middle of that vast cosmic wonder, a quieter question arises. Perhaps the most intimate question of all. Who am I? I'm the one looking at the stars. I'm the one asking the questions. But what am I? Where did I come from? Where am I going? Why do I feel so connected to everything, yet so lost? I sense something in me. I sense a capacity in me that I'm moving, I'm growing, and I can grow into everything perhaps that I'm meant to become. And if one has truly sat with these questions, if one has glimpsed even a fraction of God, of who God is, what the cosmos is, of who I am, of who you are, then a final question becomes unavoidable. How then should I live? Not just as a set of rules imposed from outside, but as a natural response to everything that I've now seen and experienced. How do I live in harmony with the real, with the cosmos, and with other human beings? How do I embody now what I know to be true? That's the journey. 4 questions. each one born from the one before it. Not 4 subjects in some university program, one living, breathing path. And here is what moved me most. The goal of this entire journey was never to collect the knowledge, never to become an expert, never to become the smartest guy in the room. The goal was transformation, to become what the tradition calls insan-e-kamil, or complete human being. Someone whose knowledge of God, of the cosmos, of their own soul has so deeply entered them that has changed not just what they know, but who they are. And what holds this entire journey together? It's Tawhid, the understanding that there is just one reality, that everything comes from that one reality and everything will return to that one reality. Every question along the path circles back to the same truth, the one. So what happened? We had this journey. That's how we lived. This path to become fully human, and we lost it. We got swept up in other directions. The gods we talked about earlier, our desires, the ideologies, the isms, the invisible ones, they fill the space where this journey now used to live. And now we have become more information than any civilization before us. But perhaps very, very little transformation. We have more answers than ever before, yet fewer people who have experienced the truth for themselves, by themselves. Professor Chittick doesn't end with loss. He shows us something extraordinary, that the cosmos out there and the soul in here are not 2 separate things. They are 2 windows to one reality. And the path back is not through institutions, programs, or movements. It's through the one thing no one can take from you, your own heart. That's what we'll explore in the next video, the connection between the cosmos and the soul, and the path of realizing reality for yourself. Till then, take care, keep smiling. Khuda Hafiz.